Cool. Good morning. Thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to be in Joshua chapter 21, verse 1 through chapter 22, verse 20. The tribal leaders of the Levites went before Eleazar the priest and Joshua son of Nun and the Israelite tribal leaders in Shiloh in the land of Canaan, and said, "The Lord told Moses to assign us cities in which to live, along with the grazing areas for our cattle." So the Israelites assigned these cities and their grazing areas to the Levites from their own holdings, as the Lord had instructed. The first lot belonged to the Kohathite clans. The Levites, who were descendants of Aaron the priest, were allotted 13 cities from the tribes of Judah, Simeon, and Benjamin. The rest of Kohath's descendants were allotted 10 cities from the clans of the tribe of Ephraim, and from the tribe of Dan, and from the half-tribe of Manasseh. Gershon's descendants were allotted 13 cities from the clans of the tribe of Issachar, and from the tribes of Asher and Naphtali, and the half-tribe of Manasseh and Bashan. Merari's descendants, by their clans, were allotted 12 cities from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun. So the Israelites assigned to the Levites by lot these cities and their grazing areas, as the Lord had instructed Moses. They assigned from the tribes of Judah and Simeon the cities listed below. They were assigned to the Kohathite clans of the Levites, who were descendants of Aaron, for the first lot belonged to them. They assigned them Kiriath Arba. Arba was the father of Anak, that is, Hebron, in the hill country of Judah, along with its surrounding grazing areas. Now the cities, fields, and surrounding towns they had assigned to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, as his property. So, to the descendants of Aaron the priest, they assigned Hebron, a city of refuge for one who committed manslaughter, Libnah, Jatir, Eshtemoa, Holon, Deber, Ain, Jittah, and Beth Shemesh, along with the grazing areas of each, a total of 9 cities taken from these 2 tribes. From the tribe of Benjamin, they assigned Gibeon and Geba, Anathoth, and Alman, along with the grazing areas of each, a total of 4 cities. The priests descended from Aaron received 13 cities and their grazing areas. The rest of the Kohathite clans of the Levites were allotted cities from the tribe of Ephraim. They assigned them Shechem, a city of refuge for one who committed manslaughter in the hill country of Ephraim, Gezer, Kibsaim, and Beth-horon, along with the grazing areas of each, a total of 4 cities. From the tribe of Dan, they assigned Eltekah, Gibbethon, Aijalon, and Gath-rimmon, along with the grazing areas of each, a total of 4 cities. From the half-tribe of Manasseh, they assigned Tanakh and Gath-rimmon, along with the grazing areas of each, a total of 2 cities. The rest of the Kohathite clans received 10 cities and their grazing areas. They assigned to the Gershonite clans of the Levites the following cities from the half-tribe of Manasseh: Golan and Bashan, a city of refuge for one who committed manslaughter, and Bishtara, along with the grazing areas of each, a total of 2 cities. From the tribe of Issachar, Kishon, Daberath, Jarmuth, and En-gannim, along with the grazing areas of each, a total of 4 cities. From the tribe of Asher, Mishal, Abdon, Helkath, and Rehob, along with the grazing areas of each, a total of 4 cities. From the tribe of Naphtali, Kedesh in Galilee, a city of refuge for the one who committed manslaughter, Hamath Dor, and Kartan, along with the grazing areas of each, a total of 3 cities. The Gershonite clans received 13 cities and their grazing areas. They assigned to the Merarite clans, the remaining Levites, the following cities from the tribe of Zebulun: Jokneam, Karta, Dimnah, and Nahalal, along with the grazing areas of each, a total of 4 cities. From the tribe of Reuben, Bezer, Jahaz, Kedemoth, and Mephath, along with the grazing areas of each, a total of 4 cities. From the tribe of Gad, Ramoth and Gilead, a city of refuge for one who committed manslaughter, Mahanaim, Heshbon, and Jazer, along with the grazing areas of each, a total of 4 cities. The Merarite clans, the remaining Levites, were allotted 12 cities. The Levites received within the land owned by the Israelites 48 cities in all, and their grazing areas. Each of these cities had grazing areas around it. They were alike in this regard. So the Lord gave Israel all the land he had solemnly promised to their ancestors, and they conquered it and lived in it. The Lord made them secure in fulfillment of all he had solemnly promised their ancestors. None of their enemies could resist them. Not one of the Lord's faithful promises to the family of Israel was left unfulfilled. Every one was realized. Then Joshua summoned the Reubenites, Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, and told them, You have carried out all the instructions of Moses, the Lord's servant, and you have obeyed all I have told you. You have not abandoned your fellow Israelites this entire time, right up to this very day. You have completed the task given you by the Lord your God. Now the Lord your God has made your fellow Israelites secure, just as he promised them. So now you may turn around and go to your homes, in your own land, which Moses, the Lord's servant, assigned to you east of the Jordan. But carefully obey the commands and the instructions Moses, the Lord's servant, gave you. Love the Lord your God, follow all his instructions, obey his commands, be loyal to him, and serve him with all your heart and being. Joshua rewarded them and sent them on their way. They returned to their homes. Now to one half-tribe of Manasseh Moses had assigned the land in Bashan, and the other half Joshua had assigned land on the west side of the Jordan with their fellow Israelites. When Joshua sent them home, he rewarded them, saying, Take home great wealth, a lot of cattle, silver, gold, bronze, iron, and a lot of clothing. Divide up the goods captured from your enemies with your brothers. So the Reubenites, Gadites, and half-tribe of Manasseh left the Israelites in Shiloh, in the land of Canaan, and headed home to their own land in Gilead, which they acquired by the Lord's command through Moses. The Reubenites, Gadites, and half-tribe of Manasseh came to Geliloth, near the Jordan, in the land of Canaan, and built there, near the Jordan, an impressive altar. The Israelites received this report. Look, the Reubenites, Gadites, and half-tribe of Manasseh have built an altar at the entrance to the land of Canaan, at Geliloth, near the Jordan, on the Israelite side. When the Israelites heard this, the entire Israelite community assembled at Shiloh to launch an attack against them. The Israelites sent Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the priest, to the land of Gilead, to the Reubenites, Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. He was accompanied by 10 leaders, one from each of the Israelite tribes, each one a family leader among the Israelite clans. They went to the land of Gilead, to the Reubenites, Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, and said to them, The entire community of the Lord says, Why have you disobeyed the God of Israel by turning back today from following the Lord? You built an altar for yourselves, and have rebelled today against the Lord. The sin we committed at Pur was bad enough. To this very day we have not purified ourselves. It even brought a plague on the community of the Lord. Now today you dare to turn back from following the Lord. You are rebelling today against the Lord. Tomorrow he may break out in anger against the entire community of Israel. But if your own land is impure, cross over to the Lord's own land, where the Lord himself lives, and settle down among us. But don't rebel against the Lord, or us, by building for yourselves an altar aside from the altar of the Lord our God. When Achan, son of Zerah, disobeyed the command about the city's riches, the entire Israelite community was judged, though only one man had sinned. He must certainly die for his sin. He most certainly died for his sin. Okay. So you've got the Levites there in the first chapter, receiving cities from among the inheritance of the Israelites. And they were dispersed throughout the whole of the nation of Israel at that point. Kind of like salt. Oh, goodness. Okay, and in chapter 22, Joshua sends the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh back to the land that was promised to them. So, just a refresher, they wanted the land west of the Jordan, but Moses said, you have to help your brothers out in the fight east of the Jordan. So they went over and helped them, and Joshua sent them back with a whole bunch of gold and silver and various other types of booty, and they go back, and then they build an altar, and it's on the one side of the Jordan. Yeah, okay. And the rest of the Israelite community is up in arms because they're only supposed to go to the one place to sacrifice. And so the implication is that they're worshiping some other god than Yahweh. So the whole of the Israelite community comes and assembles against them and accuses them of this. And I just wonder if we're, well, in this case, if they had their priorities right, because they all assemble here, ready to judge their fellow tribesmen for their sin, when Dan hasn't even conquered all of his territory yet. So, like, to me, it just speaks of how quick we are to condemn our fellow Christians when like they didn't even listen to what they had to say yet. So, like, and we'll see in these coming verses that their motives were pure for doing this. So, yeah, certainly listening can go a long way. And James tells us this, that we're supposed to be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger, for the anger of man does not accomplish the righteousness of God. So, carrying on, Luke chapter 20, verses 1 through 26. Now one day, as Jesus was teaching the people in the temple courts and proclaiming the gospel, the chief priests and experts in the law with the elders came up and said to him, "Tell us, by what authority are you doing these things? Or who is it who gave you this authority?" He answered them, "I will also ask you a question, and you tell me, John's baptism, was it from heaven or from people?" So they discussed it with one another, saying, "If we say from heaven, he will say, 'Why did you not believe him?' But if we say from people, all the people will stone us, because they are convinced that John was a prophet." So they replied that they did not know where it came from. Then Jesus said to them, "Neither will I tell you by whose authority I do these things." And then he began to tell the people this parable. A man planted a vineyard, leased it to tenant farmers, and went on a journey for a long time. When harvest time came, he sent a slave to the tenants, so that they would give him his portion of the crop. However, the tenants beat his slave and sent him away empty-handed. So he sent another slave. They beat this one too, treated him outrageously, and sent him away empty-handed. So he sent still a third. They even wounded this one and threw him out. Then the owner of the vineyard said, "What should I do? I will send my one dear son. Perhaps they will respect him." But when the tenants saw him, they said to one another, "This is the heir. Let's kill him, so the inheritance will be ours." So they threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. What then will the owner of the vineyard do to them? He will come and destroy those tenants and give the vineyard to others. When the people heard this, they said, "May this never happen." But Jesus looked straight at them and said, "Then what is the meaning of that which is written? The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Everyone who falls on this stone will be broken to pieces, and the one on whom it falls will be crushed." Then the experts in law and the chief priests wanted to arrest him that very hour, because they realized he had told this parable against them, but they were afraid of the people. Then they watched him carefully and sent spies who pretended to be sincere. They wanted to take advantage of what he might say, so that they could deliver him up to the authority and jurisdiction of the governor. Thus they asked him, "Teacher, we know that you speak and teach correctly, and show no partiality, but teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. Is it right for us to pay the tribute tax to Caesar or not?" But Jesus perceived their deceit and said to them, "Show me a denarius. Whose image and inscription are on it?" They said, "Caesar's." So he said to them, "Then give to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." Thus they were unable, in the presence of the people, to trap him with his own words, and, stunned by his answer, they fell silent. Yeah. I just want to highlight the volatility of the crowds here again, and that the Pharisees are discussing these things with Jesus, and then oh goodness, he asks them, by whose authority am I doing? Well, by whose authority was John doing the things that he was doing? And they didn't want to say one way or the other because the people would stone them if they said it was from people. So, yeah, and in 2019, they wanted to arrest Jesus, but they were afraid of the people. So, yeah. And I imagine that the Pharisees recognized that this parable of the vineyard was about them, because there's parables of the vineyard elsewhere in the Bible where God talks about planting Israel like a vineyard. And I think it's in the prophets, actually. Yeah, Isaiah chapter 5, verses 1 through 6, maybe 7. I will sing to my love, a song to my lover about his vineyard. My love had a vineyard on a fertile hill. He built a hedge around it, removed its stones, and planted a vine. He built a tower in the middle of it, and constructed a winepress. He waited for it to produce edible grapes, but it produced sour ones instead. So now, residents of Jerusalem, people of Judah, you decide between me and my vineyard. What more can I do for my vineyard beyond what I have already done? When I waited for it to produce edible grapes, why did it produce sour ones instead? Now I will inform you what I am about to do to my vineyard. I will remove its hedge and turn it into a pasture. I will break its wall and allow animals to graze there. I will make it a wasteland. No one will prune its vine or hoe its ground, and thorns and briars will grow there. I will order the clouds not to drop any rain on it. Indeed, Israel is the vineyard of the Lord who commands armies. The people of Judah are the cultivated place in which he took delight. He waited for justice, but look at what he got, disobedience. He waited for fairness, but look what he got, cries for help. So yeah, it's not even as though Jesus is saying anything different from Isaiah the prophet here, and that's saying he will come and destroy those tenants and give the vineyard to others. So, yeah. Carrying on, Psalm chapter 89, verses 1 through 13. I will sing continually about the Lord's faithful deeds. To future generations I will proclaim your faithfulness. For I say, loyal love is permanently established in the skies. You set up your faithfulness. The Lord said, I have made a covenant with my chosen one. I have made a promise on oath to David, my servant. I will give you an eternal dynasty and establish your throne throughout future generations. Selah. O Lord, the heavens praise your amazing deeds, as well as your faithfulness in the angelic assembly. For who in the skies can compare to the Lord, who is like the Lord among the heavenly beings? A God who is honored in the great angelic assembly, and more awesome than all who surround him. O Lord, sovereign God, who is strong like you, O Lord? Your faithfulness surrounds you. You rule over the proud sea. When its waves surge, you calm them. You crushed the proud one and killed it. With your strong arm you scattered your enemies. The heavens belong to you, as does the earth. You made the world and all it contains. You created the north and the south. Tabor and Hermon rejoice in your name. Your arm is powerful, your hand strong, your right hand victorious. Cool. And finally, Proverbs chapter 13, verses 15 and 16. Keen insight wins favor, but the conduct of the unfaithful is harsh. Every shrewd person acts with knowledge, but a fool displays his folly. Yep. Well, thank you for joining me today. Hope you have a great day. Bye.